a Corvette on your credit card and let Congressman Traficant use it?
I didn't let Congressman Traficant use it. There was a situation where he had bought a car from Cafero's, broke down coming into Washington, D.C., and I had the situation where he was very agitated, Cafero's were very agitated, and we had to find a rental car to find for Mr. Traficant. The rental car was delivered over here. Nobody would take it for some reason, or they couldn't find where to deliver it. They ended up bringing it out to us. And the company advised that although we had Mr. Traficant's credit card, we had his driver's license and everything faxed over to us, that they could not leave the card without having an actual credit card imprint. And this is all in federal testimony. And I, under much duress, after listening for almost an hour, Mr. Cafero telling me that you got to get the car delivered because he's going to really be bent out of shape about the car I sold him. I finally said, if you're not charging me for the car, and it has nothing to do with me, and it's only a matter of holding it for whatever this stipulation is that your rental car company has, then you can use the imprint of my credit card.
So the imprint of the credit card was put, your credit card imprint was put on the invoice for the Corvette.
That's correct.
And it was
along with his.
And you did deliver it here to the Rayburn House office building?
I didn't deliver it, no.
Okay, Mr. Lang's testimony would be untruthful as to that.
I wasn't aware of it, but if that's a statement he made, that's untruthful.
Okay. And the congressman had the car for a month?
I believe that to be correct.
And it was a daily charge of about $300?
I don't think that's true.
Okay. It was a $5,000 total charge?
Yeah, I've heard much controversy because we had actually heard a significant lower amount of what that car was supposed to be rented for. It was supposed to be, from what I understood, less than $100. But once again, I wasn't in the car rental business, didn't have anything to do with it, was uncomfortable with it, didn't think that U.S. Aerospace needed to be a clearinghouse for Cafero's transactions on selling cars or modifying cars. And I was actually so bent out of shape about the whole transaction, I actually packed my office up and left and was out of that office for 3 weeks over that very transaction.
But the transaction was on your credit card?
Transaction was on my credit card in order to hold the car only. It was not supposed to be.
And the congressman drove it?
Correct. And the congressman paid for the car.
Eventually, in December of 1999, correct?
Same way as any rental car company. When you return the car, you pay for it. You know, I've never rented a car yet that didn't take imprint of your card and charge you when you return it. And that's what he did. And he gave him the credit card from day one. They just would not accept his credit card without having an imprint over it. And that was the only issue.
Were you there at the car dealership?
It wasn't a car dealership.
At the Millennium Luxury Car Rental Agency?
No.
Okay. Do you believe...
you mean when he returned it or before when it was delivered?
When they wouldn't take the congressman's credit card? What's your basis for
No, they brought the car out to our office. And that's when they said they wouldn't accept it because his office had faxed over his credit card and his driver's license.
Mr. DeTore, you said, yeah, you wouldn't want to accept anything on anything. All you wanted, JJ, is to do what he agreed to do. And Mr. Traficant replied, and that was to do what? And you replied, to purchase the vehicle. And Mr. Traficant said he wanted to purchase the vehicle. You have those papers, don't you? And your reply is yes. And he goes on to say, I want a copy sent to me of those. And second of all, the only thing I wanted from JJ was he would move not only the company but the headquarters up to Youngstown. What did you mean by your first answers to purchase the vehicle?
Mr. Traficant had purchased vehicle from Cafero Company. The problem was, and federal testimony bears this out from their accountants and members of Cafero Company at his trial. They never delivered a title to him. And any time that I would hear somebody from his office, they'd say, can you speak to Mr. Cafero about getting a title? And in reality, the car wasn't even eligible to get a title. And Patty DiLorenzo of the Cafero Company testified during a federal hearing that she had requested from Mr. Cafero to get a title to give to Mr. Traficant after they cashed his check for the car to deliver to him, and Mr. Cafaro said that's apparently not going to be possible. We can't do it. We can't produce it, and I'll talk to him about it.
What kind of car was that?
It was it ended up being a prototype. I remember a fiberglass, either 2-door or 4-door convertible, which we found out when it broke down that it was actually bolted onto a frame of a car obtained from a junkyard. So
that was not the car that on the top of page 14 that you talked about, or Mr. Traficant talked about. I thought was only going to be $1,000 that I rented to go to Louisiana, which turned out to be $6,000 that J.J. wanted to give me the money, and I would not accept it.
Yeah, I think he's talking about the rental car there.
So this was a different car.
Yeah, there was a. What happened was when the car broke down, Mr. Traficant was very angry and was planning on going someplace. And Cafaro said, well, can't he just take air travel there, or can he, is there another way that he can get there? And he needed to drive there. And he said, the least Cafaros could do is get a car. So I called J.J. Cafaro and I said, how do you want to handle this? And he says, cars as is, I'll take care of what I need to take care of. It's his responsibility for a rental car. You can help him and arrange for it. And that's what I did. Now,
well, you went over in that testimony, and that's right. Okay. Then,
is it just coincidence that, and I'm not going to belabor the rental car, you very strongly stated your position, is it just coincidence that the only car for Mr. Traficant to rent was a 1999 black Corvette with only 9,800 miles on it? They didn't have an Escort or a midsize or a compact?
Sure. He was upset because he was driving a convertible that he had planned on driving down south someplace, and I'm not sure where he was going, and he wanted to find a convertible. Do you know how hard it is to find a convertible close to winter anywhere in Virginia? We must have called every place, and I say we, it's not me, it's people at the office looking for this, and what came from the car rental agency at Dulles Airport suggested that we could find a convertible with this Millennium. Only thing they had, cheapest thing, they had Ferraris, they had all kinds of other things. Cheapest thing they had was a Corvette.
It was a brand new Vette. Go figure.
And I don't think they told the truth on what they said they'd rent it for, but that's his money, not.
What I'm going to